Hey everyone, I am going to get my broth cooking for our spicy pork ramen soup that we are making tonight. It's a new dish to me, but it sounded good to all of us, and I feel like it's a little bit similar like a Korean beef soup that we've made a few times, so we decided we're going to give it a try. So in my pot, I have about 8 cups of chicken broth, and to that we're going to do, and this is all going to be a rough chop, you don't even have to peel it, we're going to do some onion. I have white and yellow. I want to go ahead and use up this little bit of white that I have left. So then I have a small yellow I'm going to throw in there. Smashed up garlic cloves, peeled carrot, and then I have a piece of fresh ginger, a little bit of celery. I'm going to do 2 smaller ones instead of 1 big one. And then to that we're going to add a little bit of mirin. I didn't have mirin and the store didn't have mirin, so I'm going to use the rice wine vinegar. Mirin is rice wine. You can substitute it with this as well, no problem. I have my soy sauce, and I have my gochujang. I'm not sure how it's pronounced. It's a Korean condiment that it's like a sweet and spicy sauce. That's really good that we're gonna add into it. So to start, again, everything's just real rough. Just break up your celery, toss it in there. We're gonna take our onion, just keep it in big chunks. Again, all of this is just to flavor the broth. And we're gonna strain it all out again, which is why you can leave the skins on, it does not matter. It all adds flavor. Carrot, just nice big chunks. Cut that end off there. We'll throw those in there. For the garlics, just give them a good smash. You can leave the skins. And I'm gonna do, you can do 2 or 3. I'm gonna do like 4 or 5, just cause. The more garlic, the better. So make sure they're nice and broken open to release that flavor. And then I have our piece of ginger, same thing, no need to peel it. I'm just gonna cut it in kind of bigger chunks like this. Okay. And then I will add these. So for our Korean sauce, it does have some spice to it, so you could do about 1 to 2 tablespoons. I'm gonna do roughly about 1 to start. And then I'll check it once it simmers and check it for the spiciness of it. Rice vinegar, about 2 tablespoons. Again, I never measure. You can measure if you feel better about it. But we're gonna taste it later on and make sure it doesn't need any more. Soy sauce, about 3 tablespoons is gonna go in there. Okay, and a little more. So at this point, we are going to take this, throw it on the stove over high heat, bring it to a boil. Once it's boiling, throw that lid on it and then turn the heat down and let it simmer at like a medium-low heat. Definitely keep your lid on it because you don't want it to evaporate as it's cooking. So at this point, I'm gonna throw it over the heat and I'm probably gonna let it simmer for a good, I don't know, hour. We're not eating till later on, so probably a good hour and a half or so just to get all those flavors melded together in there. All right, I am back to do a little more prep for my ramen soup tonight. So I had my broth simmering for about 1.5 to 2 hours. I just pushed that to the side and let it cool down and then I'll strain that. I have a small pan warming up here because I'm going to toast up my sesame seeds. This particular recipe calls for white and black sesame seeds. Use one or the other, whatever. I just so happen to find white-black mixed together, which is nice. I found these at Meijer. But I like to toast them. You don't have to, but it actually brings out a lot of flavor in them. You just have to keep an eye on them because they don't take long. It's easy to burn them. So mainly keep an eye on the white ones when they get that nice toasted brown color. I'll take them off the heat. I'm going to do a couple tablespoons because we all like them. So we'll get those going in our pan. In the meantime, I have a couple big handfuls of baby spinach. And as most of you probably already know, it does cook way down. So it always looks like a lot and then it kind of cooks down to a whole lot of nothing. This recipe did call for a thinly sliced leek, which I was not able to find at the store. As we all know, some groceries are hard to come by right now. I am gonna saute up though a little bit of, I had a bag of slaw mix. It does have a little bit of carrot mixed in, whatever. We're doing carrots anyhow in it, but I am gonna saute up a little bit of the cabbage that we're gonna top our soup with as well. We are gonna do, I'm gonna do a couple carrots worth. So we're gonna give these a peel and then we are going to slice these as thin as you can into matchstick. You can use a bag of shredded carrots as well, or even carrot shreds like this. It just is not quite as crunchy as a matchstick would be, but that's up to you on however you want to do it. Make sure I give these a little stir. So I have both of those ready to go. I've got my carrots peeled. And like I said, we're gonna do these in a matchstick as much as you can. I should have done that a little shorter. So for that, I am going to take these carrots, cut it in half, and then I cut them down lengthwise to try to make them a little bit thinner. If you have a mandolin and you want to use that as well, that is fine. Just be careful of your fingers, of course. But again, the whole idea is to get them pretty thin. And then you can stack a couple of them together and just cut them lengthwise. Okay. So again, take your time with this. And then just throw them in a separate dish. These we're gonna leave raw. We're gonna top our ramen soup with them at the very end. Okay, so I'm gonna get the carrots cut. And then we also want to cut up our green onions, our scallions. So I'll finish those in a moment. So I have a small bunch of green onion. That's your green onion part. Here's your scallion part. And they're nice and healthy, nice and firm. If there's any soft ones, even like this one's a little bit soft, just peel it out, throw it to the side. So I just keep them in a full bunch, cut the ends off. Hold on, let me check my seeds over here. A couple of them are just barely starting to turn brown, so let those keep going for a little bit. Okay, so you're gonna bunch them up, hold them tight in your hand, because you want to cut them all together, not individually. You're gonna be doing this forever. And just do a nice cut on these. It's prettier looking too if you're going for a look, if you do them on an angle. That always makes them look nice, since we're throwing these right on top of the soup. And when you're cutting these, go ahead and cut all the way down into that white part, because those are really good as well. Okay. All right. And that's probably a pretty decent amount there that we have. Again, these are just to kind of garnish the top. Break apart any that are stuck there. So we'll throw these into our separate bowl. Okay. And at this part, a lot of your like pre-prep is done. So you can do all of this earlier in the day, have it all ready to go, and then when we're ready to assemble the soup, we'll warm up our broth, we'll cook our ramen pasta, and then we're just gonna saute up our cabbage, our spinach, then I'm gonna throw a little bit of that pork right into the pan too and get it hot, get a couple pieces crispy, because I think that'll be great. And then at the very end, we will make some soft boiled eggs to top this with. So, I'm gonna check on these. So, can we see this? I don't know if we can see this. A couple of them are starting to get a little bit toasted brown color. Still gonna let them go a little bit longer, just to get a little bit more done. And again, it just really brings out the flavor of them. So I will be back when we are ready to finalize this soup. Okay, so we are gonna get our soup finished up now. So I have our ingredients over here that we're gonna kind of garnish with. I have our matchstick carrots. I have our scallion green onion cut on the bias there, so it looks pretty. I have my toasted sesame seeds. Do you have some crushed red pepper out? Because I know Steve and I will take that because we like spices. And so if you want to add more spice, throw some crushed red pepper on there. And then I have everything kind of set over here. I have a pretty full stove here. I kind of need one of those bigger ones with the 6 burners. But I have my cabbage ready to go. I have my spinach that's ready to go. I have my pork that we did. I'm not going to use all of this. I'm only going to use about half, and then I'll save half for a different meal. I got a ladle ready, salt, pepper, everything. In this pot is my water boiling for my noodles, my ramen type noodles that I have over here. And they do cook fairly quickly. Go by the package. They only take about 3 or 4 minutes. And then you, strain them and then throw some cold water over them, because you do want them to stop cooking right away so they don't turn to mush and start breaking apart. So my water's ready to go here. It is salted. I do have that broth warming up in here. I'm gonna strain it really quick, get all the pieces of onion out, the carrot, ginger, all that stuff. We're gonna get that out of here. And then in my smaller pan, I have my eggs. I'm gonna do 4 of them because one of us doesn't like the egg on there. So I have 4 eggs. They are 4 cold eggs that are covered with cold water. We are doing a soft to medium boil on our eggs for this. So you start with the cold water. Let me throw the heat on under those. You're gonna throw your heat on, and as soon as it comes to a simmer, we're gonna let them simmer, set a timer for, if you want soft boiled, it's going to be 6 minutes, so you'll still have a runny yolk. If you want more of a medium boil, about 7 minutes on that. And as soon as that timer goes off, we're gonna take them out and throw them into ice water to stop the cooking. Okay, because we do wanna have a little bit of that runny yolk in there. So we'll get the heat going under there. So we'll strain everything out of here. I'm gonna throw the lid back on and just keep the heat under here and keep it nice and hot. And then in the meantime, all right, let's see about everything. Okay, let's put that lid back on. And yeah, I could really use a bigger stove. There we go. Turn the heat up a little bit under there. So my water's going, my heat's on under for my eggs. Now I'm gonna turn the heat on under my pan. I chose a bigger skillet because I'm gonna kind of do everything in here. I'm gonna get the cabbage sauteed first for a few minutes with a little bit of oil, salt, and pepper, push it to the side. I'm then gonna add the spinach, cook that down real quick, a little salt and pepper, push it to the side. And then I'm gonna go ahead and throw some of my pork in here to heat it up and get it just a tiny bit crispy. So I wanna make sure I have a pan that's big enough kind of to hold everything. One thing I forgot to mention earlier, normally I salt and pepper everything. If you notice, we did not salt our broth. Reason being, I used chicken broth, which tends to have, of course, sodium in it. There is soy sauce in here that has sodium in it. The rice wine vinegar has sodium. And the gochujang, or however it's pronounced, that Korean condiment, that also has sodium in it. So I tasted it, really doesn't need any more than that, besides the little bit of salt and pepper that I'm going to add to our cabbage and our spinach and stuff. That way it's not overly salted. So I'll get this pan hot, get it going on like a medium-high heat. Keep an eye on these guys for when they start to simmer. And I'll probably throw our noodles in kind of last since they will cook super quick. All right, so my pan is nice and hot. Nice drizzle, light olive oil. So I'll start with our cabbage, well, and our carrot mix, but get that in there. Little salt, little pepper. Take your tongs there, saute that around. And this should go fairly quickly. Not to really make it soggy. You still want it to have a little crunch, but just to kind of cook it down a little bit, give it some flavor. Our eggs are doing all right. They're getting there. Not quite simmering yet. Get that all over kind of to one side. Feel like that's sauteed enough. Get off the heat a little bit more. And now let's throw in our spinach. Could probably even do a little bit of chopped garlic in with your spinach. That would be good. Why not? Some other things I'm gonna guess would be great with this soup. You have like some shiitake mushrooms sliced and sauteed, bean sprouts. I mean, I really think you could add anything and everything to this. A little salt, a little pepper. And as you see, that starts wilting down fairly quickly. Won't take long. Kind of move your cabbage around just to make sure the bottom's not burning or anything. Okay. Looking pretty good. I think we're going to push that off to the side as well. If you need to make a little more than that, go ahead. Now I'm going to throw just a tiny bit of our pork in here. A little bit more oil. Not a tiny bit. I'm going to do about half of this. Again, it's cold. It's been in the fridge all day. So let's throw some of this in here. spread it out. Whoop. All right, that looks to be about enough. As soon as these eggs start simmering and we throw that timer on, I'm gonna go ahead and throw our noodles into here and get those cooking. Looking good. I'm not gonna salt and pepper the pork because I already did that when I seared it and when I cooked it. All right, I'm gonna let this go just a few more minutes, and then this is pretty much ready to go into our soup. I'll turn the heat off under this pan. It's still gonna stay warm for quite a while. In fact, probably for the next few minutes while I get the eggs done and the pasta done. So I will be right back to fully finish this up. Okay, so the eggs are almost done. My timer's getting ready to go off. Hopefully I've cooked them long enough. I have some ice water ready to go that I'm gonna put them in right away. I left this pan on very low. And then I went ahead and I threw the noodles in. They cooked for about 4 minutes till they got nice and soft. I drained them, rinsed them in cold water, like I already said, put them right back in the pan with just a little bit of broth to keep them from totally sticking together. So, as soon as these eggs are good to go, we are ready. So yeah, then it keeps them from sticking together. Again, if you feel like you need more spinach, more cabbage, throw some right into the pan, cook it up. I think this should be enough for us. Okay, I'm gonna put these in the ice water. I'm gonna go ahead and leave that hot water in there just in case I crack one and it needs to be cooked a tiny bit more. You can put the other ones in there, or even the one that you've already opened back into the water. So I'm gonna let these sit for just a second and turn the heat up. We'll start getting one of these bowls ready to go. So, that lid off of there. Turn my flame down on everything. All right. So we're gonna get some of these. There we go. Whoop. My goodness, I want to stick together. Ramen noodles right in the middle there. I am going to ladle over some of this hot broth. Okay, now we're gonna go ahead and put some of our pork in there. Okay, some of our cabbage in there. I may have to make a little bit more. Let's throw some spinach into the mix. Okay, and then we're gonna go right here behind me. All right, so we're gonna take our matchstick carrots. Throw a nice little handful of those in here. Okay. I'm gonna sprinkle some of our sesame seeds over the top of the entire thing. Okay. Some of our scallions over the top. Oh, they're so good. There's some of those on there. And then hopefully these eggs are good to go. Try to get one of them cracked. Easiest way to peel them, I hope, they don't always work, is usually by the bottom, the fatter bottom of the egg. That's where it has that air bubble. So usually if you crack open that first. All right. Of course I peeled a couple eggs yesterday, peeled right out. Not today. But that's all right. All right, make sure you got no shell on there. Just don't zoom in on that egg. Okay. Open it. Let's lay these right on top there. Whoop. There we go. So we got our egg in there, and then I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle some crushed red pepper right over the top of that. And there you have it. Again, add as much or little as you like if you like the spice to it. And we are good to go, and you are all set with your spicy pork ramen. Enjoy.